YouTube. So I just got done from running errands, and I decided, well, I'm going to do a week update on my purchase from JadoreHair.net. I purchased 2 bundles of the Malaysian Relaxed Deep Wave in 14 to 16 inches. And as you can see, yes, I did say deep wave, but there is no deep wave to be found in this hair. Because after a week, I decided to go in and condition it. And after I conditioned it, I wore it in its natural state for probably about a day after I conditioned the hair. And I was like, oh, let me go ahead and straighten it and see what it looks like. Because I wore it in its natural state for a week before I decided to go in and straighten it. So I decided to go in and straighten it. And I conditioned it with the Dove Daily Moisture, which was recommended by Chanel. And to straighten it, I used the Remington Wet to Straight. And I like this flat iron because it gets really hot. I used it on its highest setting, which was 30. And it's also got really big plates. So it doesn't take as long to straighten the hair. And it has these ridges up here and down here. And so they don't get as hot as the rest of the iron, so it helps when you're straightening the hair because you can hold on to those 2 places, and it helps you get the hair, slide it down, and it helps you get the hair even straighter. I purchased this Remington Wet to Straight probably sometime last year from Walmart. It was probably under $25, and it did wonders with this hair, getting it super straight, bone straight. But of course, I didn't just straighten the hair without using any heat protectant. So I used the Silk Elements Mega Silk with olive oil and silk protein recommended by Chanel. And then I love this stuff. It's the Proclaim Glossing Polish. It's color and heat protector. And it also has aloe and natural oils. And it smells really good. And so I used those 2 products, and this was my result. Now, I'm not sure what my result would have been if I had not used those products, but every time I straighten this hair, I will definitely be using those products because it worked really well for me. This hair is really moisturized. It doesn't feel dry. It doesn't look damaged. The ends look, sometimes when you get a weave, your ends look dry and dead and damaged. Not these ends. They look really hydrated, really moisturized. The whole hair feels moisturized. Like, I wish you could feel how soft it is. Like, it is so soft. So soft. It's ridiculous how soft it is and how much how lifeful it feels. It still feels alive. It feels so alive. It's crazy. Me personally, I haven't had a perm on my whole head in about a year. Every now and then, I do get a perm on my leave out when I get a weave, just because it helps with blending and you don't have to do too much. And so right now, I haven't had a perm on my leave out, and it was probably earlier this year. And so, but the hair still blends pretty well with my hair without having a perm. So I can only imagine if you have a perm how well your hair will probably blend with this, because it looks so natural. I like it because it doesn't have like a really high luster. It looks more realistic. It looks more like what African Americans' hair looks like when it's been relaxed. And so I'll be going back to school next month, and so I probably will get a perm on my leave out, just on my leave out, before I go back, just because that'll be one last thing with blending and stuff. One last thing, I'll be going back to school, and I won't have to worry about trying to blend my hair in with my weave because my hair will be relaxed, just my leave out. So I'm thinking I'm going to go on and put a relaxer on my leave out before I go back to school. But as of now, I don't have one, and I haven't had one since earlier this year, and it still blends well. And so once I do get a relaxer put on my leave out, I can only imagine how well this hair will really blend with my hair. Like, it'll probably really look like it's formed from my scalp then. Let's see, what else? I didn't before really talk about the natural color that the hair came in, but this is the natural color. Before with the natural color, I hadn't dyed it, I hadn't highlighted it, I hadn't colored it, I hadn't did anything, and I still haven't. This is the hair in its natural color. You probably can't see it well on the camera, but it looks like a natural black. Like, it looks black. But when you get in the sun, it has, like, hints of brown and brown highlights and stuff like that. And so, luckily, it matches my natural hair color because I've never dyed or highlighted or colored my natural hair, my real hair either. So I was a little worried buying online. It's not like when you go to the beauty supply store and you say, oh, I need a 2 or oh, I need a 1B. Like this, by it being virgin, it comes, you get it the way it comes, unless you later on dye it or whatever, and then it's no longer, virgin. And so I was worried that I was going to have to dye this hair before it came, that I was going to have to dye it like a natural black or an off black or something like that to match my natural hair color. But when it got here, it looks like this was picked out just for me because it matches my natural hair color pretty, like, perfectly. Like, my natural hair color is just like the weave. It looks black, but then when you get it in some light, you can see the hints of brown in it. And so I'm so glad that mine came like that because I've noticed that some girls, their reviews, it looked like maybe more of a light brown or, it looked more brown. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to dye mine because brown's definitely not going to match with my natural hair color. But luckily, I did not have a problem. It was like this was just picked out just for me. What else? I've had this hair for like a week. Like I said, I wore it in its natural state. And I'm not experiencing any tangling, no bird's nest, no matting, nothing like that. And that is one thing with beauty supply store hair and with weave that I wore before. I noticed I would be around a lot of people. It would get hot. The humidity would get to the hair and it would just rise up in the back. And it would get all tangled and matted. And then you have to, like, brush it every 10 minutes. Like, that's annoying. I'd really rather not have to deal with that when I'm wearing weaves. And so I'm glad that this hair, just run your fingers through it. Like, silk. Just run your fingers through it. And it feels so real. Like, it feels so real. Let's see. The hair does shed. But it's not like uncontrollable shedding all over the place. It's not like that. It's just a few strands here and there. And the way I see it, my real hair sheds, everybody's hair sheds a few strands a day. It's natural, and why would I expect that my weave's not going to shed a few strands here and there? Now, if it was uncontrollable shedding, like where in 1 or 2 months I would hardly have any hair left in the weave, then it would be a problem. But it's not uncontrollable shedding at all. It's just a few strands here or there, and I can deal with that. Like I said, I didn't cut my wefts. My stylist just used the wraparound method and the fold over method to sew my tracks in, and I did seal my wefts. I used the weft sealer from Hair Extensions 101 in the clear. I purchased this online, and it was recommended by Chanel. Like everybody else has said that uses it, has a really, really strong smell. But I have to say the hair is still, after a week, the hair is still alive, the hair is still kicking, it's still moving. I'm still loving this hair. The hair has not been cut or layered or razored or anything like that. I might eventually have him, once I get it installed again, might have my stylist razor it or layer it or cut it or something. But by it being virgin, I just want to try to get the whole virgin effect. I didn't want to, by it being my first time, I didn't want to mess it up. And so by trying to cut it or dye it or cutting my wefts or anything like that, I didn't want to deal with that. And so I have to say that this is the hair, the length, without being bothered with it all, that they naturally came. And to me, they still look very natural. I might have him, like I say, cut it or layer it eventually. But for right now, I'm liking it. Next install, I don't know, I'm thinking about a center part, or I might want to do a deep side bang or something like that, just because I'll be going back to school. I'm even thinking about doing some highlights, because I always play it safe. I always do black hair, and I always usually, this is the longest I probably ever had my weave. I usually always do a 10 or 12 inch, no longer than that. And so this is like 15 inches of hair, so I'm getting used to it, but I'm loving it. So I might try center part before I go back to school, or I might do the deep side bang. And I'm thinking about some highlights, but I'm not sure. Like, that would be a really big step for me. Like I said, I really like the color of this hair, and I really don't want to have to dye or highlight my real hair, because I've never done that. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I just really rather not. And so if you too want fabulous hair that looks well in its natural state, but also can be straightened and still look fabulous, you should head on over to jadorehair.net and make a purchase. Stay tuned, and thanks for watching.